Um, so today finally we have a special guest, the one and only. Siddhi is finally here. Everybody
Hello,
say
everybody. Hi.
Be
How's
respectful.
everyone doing? Why do you have to
This
give
was
that disclaimer? I'm not gonna beat people up.
not you. I meant like the audience. Be respectful.
Yeah.
Siddhi's in the room.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, why do you have to give that disclaimer? I think everyone's just like
I don't know.
respectful in
I
general.
feel protective. I don't know. I feel protective. Well, we finally have Siddhi on the podcast. This took way too much energy to organize, way more energy to organize than I had anticipated. But we're finally here.
Well,
With
yeah,
some.
because Mercury was retrograde.
Oh my god, it was so annoying. For me, it's only technology. For Siddhi, it doesn't matter, she said, but for me, it's technology and transport. So nothing was like going my way. So I was just like, we'll do this when we do this.
No,
I
in
don't know.
general, like, there was a delay happening. Like, we were supposed to do it, like, on Saturday. Like, first on
Yeah.
Friday, and then on Saturday. And now it's, like, Tuesday. But,
Literally. Fine. Anyway, better late than never, I guess.
Yeah.
But today we are here with some stories about ghosts and spirits and encounters with spirit. Like, I want to do like good stuff and bad stuff as well. But whatever comes to mind, honestly. I have a few in my head, I think. I suddenly forgot everything. But yeah, I have a few in my head. But yeah, we were kind of discussing what our first podcast should be about. And I don't know, instead of it being like educational, like, oh, this is what astrology is, this is what tarot is, this is what we do, and this is how we do it, instead of like the whole theory class, we were like, yeah, we'll just start with some experiences. And if that interests our audience, we'll maybe, if they want gyan, we'll give it to them later. But
Yeah, plus I feel like theory is more digestible once we do it in like the format we do it on Taroni, which is like through stories and like through posts. So
yeah,
I guess like talking about it would just push us into like different tangents, and then we won't be able to like explain ourselves more articulately. Because like both of us are writers, and like we do best in those mediums, even though like Niharika is so much more eloquent that way because she had a YouTube channel. Don't cut me off. I want to talk about your YouTube channel.
Please, this is not the place to bring up things from the past like this. But no, I don't think I'm an eloquent speaker. I think I just get really anxious, so I don't stop talking, which is why I think podcasts are good for me, because even if it doesn't make sense, at least there's something going on for the entirety of the podcast. Like, there won't be a the first podcast I literally didn't breathe. Like, if when I think back, literally when I think about it, I'm like, I was talking for like 30 minutes straight. I didn't stop. How is that? Just weird.
I don't know how you can do that.
I don't know either. I think I went on autopilot. I was like really anxious and I was like sweating. Like, when I stopped the recording, I was like, oh my god. It was nice, but it was fun. I'm glad we like gave this a shot, and I'm glad we're doing it together as well.
Yeah, I hope this like recording thing works out, because if like people don't know this, but Niharika and I are in like 2 different countries.
I know. Literally, we're doing the most to get this recorded in the best sound quality. Like, that was another thing. Our trial round was such a mess, and then we were like, okay, we have to figure out a way. But anyway, it worked. I hope this gets out there in the quality we want it to. But yeah, I think 5 minutes of an intro is more than enough. If anyone is still listening, we're gonna get into some stories now. But I think
let's talk about Niharika's haunted house.
straight into it.
Yeah, just
Okay.
go there.
Well,
Go get into it. Talk about it.
so long story short, I lived in this not so nice area. Back in Dubai, when I used to live in Dubai, it was like my building was surrounded by three graveyards, two on the side, one behind, and then the mosque in front of us, and it kind of made it like a hotspot for negative energy, like that building. Plus, the building was shaped like in a sort of triangle, and that's not really good either because corners usually
Vastu-wise, yeah.
harbor they harbor the most amount of negative energy. But I don't know, I lived in like two flats in that same building, and the first one was fine, but then the second one was not, and it was the bigger, prettier one, so it was kind of sad that ended up happening. But I mean, to give it some structure, when we moved in, we did like the Vastu Shanti Puja, which is basically keeping this coconut kalash thing and, praying to the gods and being like, cleanse the space of everything negative, blah, blah, blah. And so the kalash that we'd kept, the coconut in it, after everything was done and we had moved in, my mom asked me to throw it away. And she gave it to me in a bag. And I was like, I was not... well, I was in touch with my spirituality, of course, but I didn't know how to make sense of my intuition at the time. Like, I just knew good feelings and bad feelings. I didn't really know what to make of it. So when she gave me the coconut in my hand, like in a bag, I just like I wanted to throw it away. Like, it made me feel really gross, and I was like, what is in this? Like, it was trash. So I was like, what is in this? And she said, oh,
You
it's
just
the
wanted to
coconut
get
from...
rid of it.
Oh, so bad. Like, I didn't even want to hold the bag. And she was like, oh, it's the coconut from the Kalash Puja. And I was like, I don't like it. And she's like, yeah. And then she showed me like a giant crack. Like the coconut had a giant crack right through the middle. And I was like, isn't this a bad sign? And then my mom, obviously, like, it was such a beautiful house and we actually got really good vibes from it. So obviously we didn't want to jump to the worst conclusion, and we hadn't, I mean, I hadn't experienced anything like that in my life, but my mom had, but she never really like believed in it that much at that point. So she was like, oh, it's nothing, I'm sure it's nothing, I'm sure it's just like, because I think we moved in December or something, so it was cold, and she's like, I'm sure it was the cold or something like that. We make excuses for this stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, she's like, just throw it away, just throw it away. So I went and threw it away. But that was like my first sign that something was off with this. There were also like other instances now that I think about it where a fork of ours, I still have that fork actually. We had kept it out in the kitchen to dry, and the entire fork, like, it was supposed to be a straight, like the place where you hold the fork, it was supposed to be a straight rod, but we had kept it to dry, and when we came back to like pick it up and put it in its place, the rod had like bended into like bended, it had bent into like squiggles.
What?
And my parents were like, oh, it's because it's really hot, so it was like the heat. And I was like, okay, maybe. And it
you
was
just said,
like,
okay, maybe. That didn't even like sound like weird to you.
well, no, because first of all, I'd never experienced anything paranormal to like the extent before, and the first thing your brain is going to do is rationalize it to be something normal and something that just happened, and not draw like there's a ghost in the house type conclusions. And I mean, nothing, we weren't very aware of what was going on at the time, but then like little things kept happening, and then they just like progressed into really big things. I think one time I was like asleep, and I was like, my bed, I was turned to the wall, and the other side is where the door was, and someone like pushed me awake. I think I've told the story on my YouTube channel, but
Yeah.
anyway, someone like pushed me awake, like shoved me, which is why I woke up, like shoved me really hard, and I was like, what the hell? And I turned around, and there was no one in my room. So I like went out, and I went to my mom, and I was like, are you okay? Like, why would you do that? And she was just like, what? And I was like, why did you like shove me awake? Like, and then run away, like, at least own up to it. What's wrong with you? And it was just me
Why
and my
did
mom
you
in the
shove me
house.
awake in the middle of the night? That's like the weird part.
Yeah, no, it was morning. So I thought she just came to wake me up. So I was like, why did you wake me up like that? That's so rude. And she's like, I haven't left the kitchen in like a while, like an hour at least. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I think that was like around the time that I kind of realized like that something wasn't right. And my Masi, shout out to my Masi, she's like my spirit guide. But she kind of like, she usually like teaches me stuff about spirituality and stuff that runs through a family. So she was like, yeah, there's something wrong with the house, like it's not a good vastu. And I was like, okay, well, what can we do, it is what it is. But we did like pray to God and stuff, and we had this balcony where we kept she had asked us to keep kalash, like one kalash on each side of the balcony door. And it was like one giant balcony, but there were 3 doors for the living room, the bed, my bedroom, and my parents' bedroom. Like all 3 of us had one entrance to the same balcony. And so we were asked to keep like 2 kalash on either side of the balcony. And like every other day, the kalash outside my balcony would, both of them would be cracked. Only the ones outside mine, both of them. Like every other day, like every 2 or 3 days, the coconuts would be cracked, and we would have to replace them. Yeah, it was crazy. I used to get like crazy psychic attacks, and I would travel, like astral travel in that house. I think I've astral traveled in that house only. Like,
I mean, every
I don't
time
think
we dream, in general, we astral travel. So that could be it. But you might have like more vivid dreams. I guess.
really. Oh yeah, that
every
makes
time we
sense.
dream is like us astral traveling. Like every time someone visits you in your dream, they're coming to
Yeah.
your plane of existence and stuff. So
That's
like in general, when you
yeah.
like dream, but like when you have extremely vivid dreams, that's like your Ketu playing a part in that, because like Ketu is like your diamond. So
Right.
he or she, like it depends, but usually females have like a female diamondess, or like no, females have a male diamond and males have a female diamond.
Right.
So they come up in your dreams. Like this is why when you see certain celebrities or people in your dreams, right, notice
Yeah.
like their sun signs, moon signs, and related to your Ketu sign or your south node sign. Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever had dreams like that with people who are not currently a part of my life. Like I don't think I've ever, it's always been like family members or friends that I'm talking to at the moment. Like no one, or someone that I'm missing obviously, but no, never like a celebrity. Very rarely. I don't even remember actually.
That's
But yeah, I used
interesting.
to.
I keep
Yeah.
seeing Rihanna in my dreams.
Well, whatever
Like, I don't know.
what past life connection would that be? Hello. You
I
should
have
DM.
no
Well, her
idea.
DMs are not open. You should DM her on Instagram and be like, hey, why do you come into my dreams often?
Yeah, like, babe, I don't know you. I love you. I love your music, but this needs to stop.
Yeah,
You can't
please
just
stop
be invading
haunting
my
my
dreams like this.
Exactly.
yeah, I get,
And
like,
not
why
like
you would
talking to me
have-
in real life.
Exactly, that's so rude. But
Exactly.
like, I get
Like,
why
we
you
should
would
be
have
friends.
like vivid dreams in the other
Oh
house.
yeah.
'Cause-
No, they weren't. It wasn't like well yeah, vivid dreams, but it was more like every, like at night I would just like float around my house, but then I would see the house in like in the energy sense. So it would be the same house, but it would be like the furniture would just be like the in like energy form. And I would see like black blobs everywhere, stuck on the corners of the walls, stuck on the walls, like living black blobs just moving around, like mulchy, like gross, really gross. And then I would go to my parents' bedroom and I would see like both of them are sleeping right there. I would just like hover over them. I would come back. I would go stand in the balcony. Like it was crazy. And I honestly thought, obviously, I didn't know anything. Like I didn't know what it was. So I was like, okay, crazy dreams. I don't know why this happens to me
Was the
like
house,
almost every
like-
night.
Was the house sometimes like too cold for its own good? Like it was always like cold?
I don't remember. I honestly don't. Like, I don't remember that part.
Yeah,
I
because like
I
when
I haven't blocked out any of the memories, I don't think, but I don't remember this. It's been I was like in I was it was really long ago. It was a really long time ago. I think like at least 5 or 6 years ago. So the little details I don't remember, but I remember the nightmares and the sleep paralysis and the astral travel. But
oh yeah, I was gonna ask you about the sleep paralysis. Like, how was that?
oh,
Like, did
so
you
much.
see actual demons and stuff?
I just knew that they were there. Like, they were kind of like a side eye thing. Like, I knew there was something in the corner of my eye, but I just couldn't move to see it because I was in paralysis. And it was also like people like holding me down, like just standing over me, on me, so that I couldn't tell. That actually reminds me of this one time in IS, the
Mm-hmm.
school we went to. I don't know if should we even. It's okay, right? I don't
You
think it
should not
matters.
disclose.
But
I would never tell people I went to that
I
demonic
know,
school. Whole
I know.
place was just. You remember there was a rumor that the
Sad.
school was built over a cemetery, and like,
Well,
um,
no, I didn't know that.
oh yeah, there was like a whole rumor. I think when I was in like 6th grade, that everybody would say like our school was built over a graveyard, and I was just like, no
But I
wonder
mean,
everybody
isn't the
acts up all the
entire
time.
city of Dubai? But I
Kind
mean, isn't
of.
the entire city of Dubai built on a graveyard? If you
Graveyard.
like,
Kind of. Yeah.
when it was just sand and a proper
It's
desert,
just
people
desert.
didn't really know where they were burying people.
I have a
But yeah,
graveyard
the
right behind my
classroom.
house.
Dude,
Like I
there's
live
graveyards in.
like
There's a plethora of graveyards in Dubai. Anywhere, just walk 5 steps, you'll find a graveyard somewhere. Or like
yeah.
something. I don't know. At least for me, I
No
was
wonder
surrounded by
like people
graveyards like
come
my
here
whole
and they
life.
just get stuck. Like they try so hard to get out of this place
Yeah,
and like it's so hard for them to get out. It's like
I
the
know.
purgatory. Like people just come
Yeah.
here and they get stuck. Like they just want to move out and like it never happens for some people. It's so
Yeah,
hard to
people
get
who
out
want to
of
move
here.
out. Yeah. And they're miserable. Like, it's not like they're happy. Like, I mean, there's like the 1% who obviously is rich and able to afford a life in Dubai that's like
I'll tell you
comfortable.
why they're happy. There are people who are born here and like the locals and stuff, they're happy, but like the
Yeah.
people who migrate here, they're not happy. That's what happens. Like
Yeah.
even in like hell, I'm not comparing Dubai to hell or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I would, but anyway, people who are not from Dubai are like, what, should I not go for my annual vacation there, or what's going on? Why are they
No,
hating
it's
on
not
Dubai so
bad,
much?
but I feel like
Yeah.
even in hell, like the people who live in hell or whatever, they would never find like this analogy could be applied to any country, like any country.
Anything.
Plus, like
Yeah.
the thing is, I'll tell you, there's a lot of science behind. There's a lot of astrology and science behind this also. D, the sound D, is the sound of Saturn, and Saturn is the direction west.
Oh,
Sun
okay.
rises from the east, right? But
Right.
um, in the west is Saturn, and in the west is where like people go to die.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the name itself starts with a D,
Oh my
and
God.
it's just like this place has really Saturnian energy, and not
It
in a
does.
good way. It's like a malefic Saturnian energy.
Which is kind of like weird since it's always developing, quote unquote. Like, there's always some new building coming up here and there, but at the same time, the progress is like really slow
Yeah,
in terms
it's
of just
stunted.
people. And yeah. But anyway, this podcast is not about how shitty Dubai is or living in Dubai is after
Yeah.
you've lived for long enough. But yeah,
I've lived here like
in our
21
school,
years. But yeah, go
same.
on. You've lived
But
very
yeah,
long
in
as well.
same amount of time. I wasn't born there. Like, I moved there in 2nd grade, so around 20, 21 years. But yeah, in our school, the classroom that we were in when I was in 11th grade was kind of haunted. Like, something was up with the classroom. the back of the classroom, and of course I sat on the back seat because I liked to sleep through school. I didn't really
Queen
like
shit.
school. Yeah. I was either
Yeah, see
eating or
kids, like
sleeping.
they can sleep through school and still be this smart. So I guess like the whole
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You
I
don't have to
used
pay
to sit in
attention
the
in
back
school.
seat.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I used
same.
to sit at
Oh
the
my
back
god, I
seat,
could not
never
have.
paid attention either.
I couldn't imagine that. That's so,
Why
like, I don't
not?
know. I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I feel like you would be somewhere in the middle, like the person who kind of did, like, stayed in her lane, but also did everything that
I
she was
did
supposed to
not
do.
stay in my lane. Like I was constantly like challenging my teachers and stuff. I was like, "Ma'am, what you said is wrong." And yeah, I
Okay,
did
that
that
I can
like all
believe.
through. Yeah, I did that all throughout university as well. But like, I would not stay. Like, I would be at the back, and I would still like have the audacity to question my professors all the
Fine.
time, and they were just
I
like, "We'll talk about this after class."
I
But
was
yeah,
very
go on.
incognito. I was just incognito. So anyway, I would like, we had just moved to that classroom. Like, our classroom was somewhere else, but then we used to move classrooms a lot. Like, they treated art students like, I don't know,
Kachra, yeah, yeah,
barbar,
yeah.
like, like it was like,
Garbage.
huh, whichever spare classroom you can find, just shove them in there. Who cares about them anyway? It's not like they're gonna amount to anything or do anything with their lives. So who cares?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they
yeah.
put us like in the end of the hallway somewhere, just stored us there. Anyway, so we were in this classroom, and I used to sit at the back, and we had just moved there, and I was already living in this like gross haunted house, and I would experience enough sleep paralysis there, so I would often be like sleep deprived, because I would also not like to go to sleep in case I would have like nightmares and stuff. I was pretty afraid of it at that point. So I would come to school, and I would try to skip the Wednesday assembly that was like downstairs with all the sections together. I would just be like, "Ma'am, I'm sick," and I would try to get out of it. And or try to complete homework in that time. Like, I would either nap, like I would be like, I'm sick, and I would either nap, or I would complete homework that I obviously didn't do for the first period or whatever. But there was like a few instances where would go to bed, like I would just put my head on the desk and I would fall asleep. And I only remember this one time. I would have sleep paralysis a lot, like during, like while class was going on, I would fall asleep in class, and I would be woken up by like something pushing my head down. Like, you know how you would like lay your head on the desk, something would be pushing my head down and not letting me wake up. And I could hear the teacher like teaching, I could hear students talking, but I was like not able to breathe or, come up. That was pretty common. But the one time that I was alone, because everyone else had gone for the assembly, and Wednesday assemblies, I'm like reiterating this because I want you to know that there would be nobody in the entire block. Everyone,
Yeah.
including like the like
Janitors,
office
everyone
boys,
would be there.
janitors, everyone would be downstairs. Like, there would be not a single person in the block. Remember that. So I was sleeping, and I was again like, there was pressure on my head, and I was like, what the heck? And it was like really like, I don't know, harsher than usual, and I was just not able to wake up. And it was like my head was down, and from like the bottom right corner, I could like hear a voice go like, Niharika. And I was like, what the hell? And I got really scared. And then the voice was like, do 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 do. And I was like, oh my god. And then
What
I,
the
st-
fuck?
I was like, what?
Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, you are. It's fine.
That was like, holy shit, dude. I would straight, like, I'm not even joking. I would run out of that school
I
and never
couldn't
look
move.
back.
I know I couldn't move, and then I was like, and so I started praying like profusely all the mantras I knew. I just started chanting one after the other, calling everyone, and like literally 2 or 3 seconds after I started chanting the mantras, my head like shot up, and the classroom door, which was already shut, just went like phat, as if like it shut, like it was shut again, but it was already shut, and I was just like, huh? And the windows were closed and the AC was on. So there's no way that the wind did that. And I was like, excuse me, what? And I like got up and I was terrified. Like I was like, I don't know what that was. And then oh my god, I couldn't sleep. Like even when I went back home, I couldn't sleep for like months. Like I needed a parent, like one of my parents, to sit by my bed every night for at least a month or two until I fell asleep. And they could only leave after I fell asleep because I was terrified to go to bed. It was, oh my god, I can't. Like that was one of the first times I was like, okay, this stuff is real. Like I know this has happened to me before, but not, no one's ever said, you know, when someone says your name, you, that voice kind of sticks in your head. And when it's a voice like
And does
that
it
you've
still
never
like,
heard before.
do you still remember what the voice was like? Like, do you
Oh
still
yeah, it was
like
a
think?
girl. It was like a young girl's voice. Like it was nothing demonic, but it was a young girl's voice. And she was like singing, like she was like "Doo-doo-doo-doo." Like you don't forget that shit ever. But yeah, that was really
No.
scary. That never happened in my haunted house. In my haunted house, it was just through dreams. It never happened like
This was just in
this
our haunted school. Yeah.
in our haunted school. Yes. But yeah, I think the journey with my house just ended. Like it just started affecting us more and more. My mom physically, my dad financially, and me like psychologically just messed all of us up. And I just had like one final nightmare where whatever demonic presence was in the house kind of confronted me. Well, not me, confronted my goddess that was protecting me at the time. And it whatever the thing was, like it manifested itself in the form of a really aggressive dog. And the dream was just like I was in my living room, and there was this dog, and it was like barking at me, and it was really aggressive, it was chasing me around. And then I just sat on my like sofa, and as it was barking, like its face started becoming more and more like rakshas like, and like bigger and more vicious, and the dog was like growing in size, and it was just barking. And then it just like stopped. Like it was like, you know, as if something, like someone else walked in. Like it stopped barking at me, and it looked like to the left of my head, and it looked directly to the left of my head where there was a wall. So I don't know what I was looking at the time. And it was like, you think you can stop me? You can't do anything. You can't hurt me. You can't do shit to me. Just leave. And then I got up and I was like, I'll leave, dude. But what the hell? Like, if you want me to leave, you should have just told me before we moved in. Like, I would have never moved in. I'll leave. And then I told my mom about it. I told
That
my
was very
Masi about it.
confrontational.
Oh, it was like, I'm just glad it, like, that dog wasn't looking at me. Like, because if we made eye contact while that dog said that, I don't think I would have woken up. Like, I would have had a heart attack and died, like, in the dream. It was really scary. Like, the voice was like deep and like, like demonic. And it was like, you think you can do anything? Like, it was really intimidating. But then my Masi was like, it was talking to the goddess. Like, she's behind you and they're all protecting you. So it was just like feeling threatened or intimidated because it was trying to harm you, and it wasn't able to harm you to the extent that it wanted to harm you because you were like divinely protected. But anyway, after that, I just refused to live in the house anymore, so we moved out. But a lot of stuff happened between that. Like, I could go on forever, honestly. It was just like a lot of nightmares of like someone pulling me by the legs, or someone, just a lot of succubus stories as well. But it's like, it's whatever, you know.
So,
Stuff
moral of the
happens.
story, kids, protect yourself divinely. I think you've given me this advice with like tarot cards as well. And
Oh,
like even
definitely.
with astrology, like every time we do readings, like, because I felt like drained after I read this one particular person's reading, and they were kind of like, they were upset about like just in general in life. They were super upset, and I was telling Niharika, I was just like, I don't know, I feel so paranoid today. And she's like, did you cleanse?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, because like
The
usually
tarot
I just
reading,
do
right?
my, yeah, because usually in
Yeah.
the morning I just do like my Hanuman Chalisa, and like that's enough for me. Like I didn't think I needed to do anything extra or whatever. She's like, dude, no, go cleanse your cards, go like
Yeah.
meditate again, like intensely meditate. And like then I meditated for like 45 minutes, and then that's when like today I started feeling a little better,
Better. Yeah.
because
More
like it's
grounded.
so like it's so important to protect yourself like that. Like you
You
have
have
to be
to.
divinely
And
protected.
it's weird how people don't talk about it enough. The amount of spiritual hygiene you have to keep up when you're reading cards for people. Like, it's like
Mm-hmm.
like tarot reading is not taken as seriously as like witchcraft or anything else that's spiritual.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
like
like it's,
advertised as play cards. That's like the worst
yeah,
part.
literally. And it's like, even like in movies or TV shows or in general, like people buy it as like a party game. And it is commercialized. Like a lot of people just use it as like a party game. There are
Mm-hmm.
fortune teller booths at so many parties and events,
Events and
and
stuff.
yeah, people do this commercially, which I guess is like their own thing, but it's also like a very powerful medium to communicate with the spirit world. So it's like, which one are you doing? It's such a thin
Yeah,
line, so
but
people
like
like don't realize. And I don't know,
to
sometimes I feel like
me,
I overdo it, like the whole
mm-hmm.
spiritual cleansing thing. I feel like I'm
No,
way too
no.
careful, but because I don't know, I've never actually had this conversation with other tarot readers. I think I've spoken to one other person who was a tarot reader about like spiritual hygiene, and all that conversation was, it was just like, I was telling her how I cleanse before and after and meditate and stuff, and she was like, "Oh, that like you have so much of structure when it comes to this. I don't follow any structure." But then also she was really really depressed. So
Yeah, she was depressed because she wasn't keeping
yeah,
up with the spiritual hygiene. Like,
exactly. Yeah,
I'll give
I've
like
never
one
had
more.
this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go on. No, complete your sentence. I keep
No, no,
cutting you off.
no, it's okay. No, I just said like I've never had the conversation of spiritual hygiene for tarot readers with not with a lot of people, with anyone actually.
I mean,
So I
like
don't
you
know if I
said,
overdo it.
yeah, like you said the other day, like it's energy, it doesn't like just vanish, it has to go
Oh, for
somewhere.
sure. Yeah,
So either
it
you,
transfers.
yeah, it
Yeah,
transfers, either you make it.
I was telling Siddhi the story as well about how when I was doing free readings, a friend of mine was like, "I'm really annoyed. Like for a week straight, I've just been annoyed for no reason. Can you like pull some cards for me?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I pulled some cards for her, and I think I told her what's up, and she said, "Yeah, okay, that's true. I feel better now." And then for the rest of the week, I was annoyed for no reason, because energy. What I said, or what I believe in, basically is that, I mean, energy can't be created or destroyed, so it just gets transferred from person to person. We should do a whole podcast on like spiritual hygiene.
On spiritual hygiene, yeah. But
Yeah,
like
that would be interesting.
just one tip for like maintaining spiritual hygiene, and it's like really easy, is to get a magnesium spray. Like there's like magnesium
Spray?
sprays. Yeah, just like spray and like apply it transdermally. Like just spray it all over your body in the morning, and
Mm-hmm.
that just gets rid of radicals and stuff. Like just get a magnesium spray. For me, I just take tablets because I need to go to sleep. Like I have problems sleeping.
Right.
I'm a mercury. I'm like a mercurial person, so I don't sleep enough. But with like most people, it's I'm gonna get a spray actually later on. But
Mm-hmm.
it's very 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 important for one to spray themselves with magnesium, and like the cleanses
Wow.
Niharika does. Like, but like honestly, I feel like it's important for people to develop their own cleansing ritual that they
Oh,
don't tell
definitely. Oh, yeah, yeah,
that they
yeah.
don't
It's
tell
very
to other
sacred.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very sacred to you. Like, because it's like you being, that's like the one time that you are very present with yourself, and there's no one else but you, your cards, and like whatever you're doing. It's like your
Mm-hmm.
me time, kind of, where you're
Yeah.
not, I don't just like spiritually cleanse just when I'm reading cards. Even when I used to go to work, when I would come back from my job, I would like sage myself and like just cleanse. I was like, please take this day away. Because I mean,
I
I
just
didn't
play
like
music.
working.
I just play
Oh,
music and like burn a
you
candle.
know,
Like
it's
I
just
just
so
play like
much.
the
But
solfeggio frequencies and do that.
it's
I'm
just
just telling you
where
mine.
I,
Mm.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure. It's just like where I
Mm.
used to work, there was so much noise the whole day that I didn't want to hear
Mm-hmm.
it anymore at the end of the day. So I would just keep it as quiet as possible and just be like, yep, smoke, 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 candle, stuff like that.
We'll do
But
an
yeah, what
episode
about
on
you?
spiritual hygiene and like
We will.
commercialization of spirituality and how it just loses its
Yes,
meaning.
please. Dude, we should pick a day when both of us are really annoyed at something so we can like vent out all the like anger in this rant of
For
spirituality
sure.
going mainstream.
For sure.
But no,
We should do that soon.
you have some interesting spirit stories as well, so you should have your go.
Oh, okay. So one of my most interesting, like this is like the most interesting because it was the closest to me because I was the one possessed. Like it
Oh my god,
wasn't
I still can't
somebody
believe that
else.
like that's your life. Yeah.
Like imagine being 3 years old and like just the spirit entering you.
I'm just like, what's going on?
But
Okay.
basically in India, like I was around like 2.5, 3, and my mom, she just came back to India after like being in Dubai for a year, and she was just carrying me, like it was the evening time, and we were walking towards our house, and like we passed like by a junction, and like there was a graveyard opposite the junction,
Right.
and my mom was just like very nonchalant about it, like she didn't know that you shouldn't like cross a junction or like at least spit behind you or throw salt behind you when you're like passing by like that, because like the baby's like there on your shoulder, right? It can see, and like
Yeah.
for me, I'm like I was a very sensitive child, and now I'm a sensitive adult. Like I get like energies really well, and I'm clairvoyant, so
Yeah.
it's really easy for me to like, the whole mediumship is very easy
Yeah.
for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
So
Yeah.
I came home, and like I would just scream and cry non-stop in the middle of the night. Like I would wake up and scream and cry non-stop. And we were like going, and my mom was like, it kept happening, and in the afternoon I'd just laugh, like I'd just have
Oh my
bursts of
god.
laughter, and I would
Oh
point to
my
the wall.
god.
Yeah, I would just point to the wall and say Dolly. I would just
Stop it. Why did I choose to do this at 11:30 p.m.? I'm not gonna sleep tonight. Amazing.
It's okay. We'll just pray to like Lord Hanuman, and like it's just gonna be okay.
Yeah, I'm playing the
And my
Hanuman.
mom
I
was
play.
just-
I'm gonna sleep. I'm gonna listen to the Hanuman Chalisa while I sleep. But yeah.
Yeah. And like my mom was petrified. She's like, why is she? It's
Oh.
her nap time. And like for me, I was a furious napper. Like I would sleep and not wake up. But suddenly
Nothing
it
has
was
changed.
2:30. Huh? It was
Nothing.
2:30 in the afternoon, and I'd just be
Yeah.
like, Dolly. Like I would just say that.
My
I would point at
god.
the ceiling and just be like,
No, 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 no,
Dolly.
no, 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 no. No. I
And
just
my
had an
mom was
image
like-
of like a 3-year-old girl with like nice curly hair, just like sitting on the bed and maniacally laughing and pointing. Oh my god. Nice.
Yeah, and my mom's like, oh my mom was scared. Like she was terrified. Because
I
like,
would
we're a
just leave
Brahmin
you.
household.
Dude, I'm literally the most maternal person I know, but I would literally leave you and run away and never be seen again. I'll be like, that's not my child anymore. I gotta
Yeah,
go.
that's a demon. That's like the whole demon. And I agree, like anybody would be that scared. Like
Yeah.
my mom, she was just like, she was so petrified. She was like scared of sleeping with me at night because I would wake up again and then I'd start screaming again. And
no.
she, at like one point of time, she's like, okay, so we were there for like 15 days and that was over. So that happened in the last couple of days. And then we were supposed to go back to Dubai. And I did the same thing in our flight. Like, I just got up from my seat. I was standing on my seat and I started screaming loudly.
Oh my god. I can't believe she took you back without like getting it fixed first.
She didn't know what was happening. See, the thing
Oh,
is,
yeah,
we're a
true.
Brahmin
Good point.
household. So we just thought we were like divinely protected all the time. We didn't have like... And the only person who would come to us was like my great-grandfather through my grandfather. And like now he'll come through my dad or like my brother. And we'd never have like an experience or like any experiences with negative entities or whatever. But this time, so my
Yeah,
mom
I
was
know
like
what you
super
mean. I'm not
confused.
Brahmin, but it's the same for us. We would never think that that would happen to us because
Yeah,
we just
because
assume.
I
Yeah.
because at the time you're like, my mom was also super young when she had me. She
Oh,
was
for
around like
sure. Yeah.
25 at the time, and she was like pretty
Wow.
rational. She was like, I don't think she has a spirit or whatever.
Yeah.
But I did that in the plane, and my mom's like, because usually like a quiet sensitive child, and like I was never a
Yeah.
crier or whatever. I was just like doing
Yeah.
my own
Yeah.
thing, reading books, etc.
Yeah.
So my mom was not used to this. She's like, she never cried. Like even when she came out of the womb, she was like quiet. Like during her hospital time, she was quiet. As a baby, she was quiet and chirpy. During
Yeah.
school, nursery, whatever, she was quiet. She was doing her own thing. And
Right.
suddenly, I'm just like getting up from my seat and screaming loudly. And like my
Oh my
sister was still a
God.
baby. So she's crying, I'm screaming and
Mm-hmm.
crying.
Oh.
Everybody else on that plane is just annoyed as fuck. People don't
Yeah.
notice that.
And your mom's like, not
My
mine.
mom's just like, this is not, these two, not mine. Like, I don't know who these people are. She was just sick of us at that point of time.
I know.
But
I can't imagine.
yeah,
So then, what did
anyway, we
you
came back.
do? Yeah.
So we came back to Dubai, and my great grandfather was still alive. Like my maternal great grandfather, he was still alive at the time. He was alive like until I was, I think, in 11th grade, which is like a long time for someone that old. And he just did his like thing. I don't know what he did. Nobody knows what he did. He just took me to a room. He did his thing. And then I
Nice.
slept for 2 days. Like when he got done with me,
Yeah.
like he did his like whole exorcism thing. I just went
Wow.
to sleep for 2 days.
That's so scary. Like you were a baby.
Yeah, I was
Wow.
just sleep.
You
Like
needed
I was
that
in a
time.
trance. I think like it's easier for children to contact the spirit world. That's why like a lot of people become psychics and like
Oh yeah,
develop their
definitely.
intuition as
Yeah.
children.
Children can see
Because like they
everything.
can see shit. Like
Yeah.
children are just, yeah, and children like have just come
Right.
from another
They're very
world
young. Yeah,
to this world.
exactly. They're just like
So they're still
transitioning in.
connected that way. And they're hyper aware. They can see like like this is why when children tell me like they have imaginary friends or something, I get really scared. I'm just like, that is not an imaginary friend. Like it is. She's like, no, Chitra is my imaginary friend, and I was like, Chitra, 35-year-old woman
Is not.
is not your
That's so creepy.
Yeah.
I don't think, touch wood, I've never had a child come up to me and be like, I have a woman as my imaginary friend and this is her name. Like I would just, I don't know what I would do. I would literally not be able to handle it.
Have you watched that TV series Haunting of the Bly Manor?
I haven't. Everyone's telling me it's really good. I want to.
It's really, really good. The fact that it's like very poetic is just something nice to watch.
Right.
But at the same time, like the little kid in the TV show, she keeps seeing her dead nanny and she keeps seeing like the dead ghost from the house from like 20th century. So like so long, like 100 years ago, and the
Yeah.
little fucking child
Yeah.
can see like the ghost, and it's terrifying. Like the child's like hiding people and she's helping the ghost move through the
Wow.
house and shit. And I'm like,
I mean,
if you see it, like you'll get it.
I think it would be hard for us to live in a house with like that had like my child would never see the shit or come to me and be like, I have an imaginary friend and it's like a lady or a man, because I would know, like before I moved into the house, I would know whether or not there's someone else present there at this
Yeah.
point at least. So I'm hoping that would never be the case. I would never have to deal with that. But this was so much fun. It was fun discussing spirit stories, and I'm sure we can make a part 2 and talk about more. Like there are so many more.
100%.
But we also bitched about our school and Dubai. Oh my god. And it was fun. I'm so glad you're finally on the podcast, and I hope we can record all of them together now, because it's just we get to
Yeah,
catch
I
up.
enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, and we get to catch up too.
Yes.
Yeah.
As if we don't talk to each
No,
other.
like extra. Like we get to catch up extra, you know? We get to talk more about stuff. But yeah, I hope that you, whoever's still listening, enjoyed this podcast. It was so much fun recording it. I realized after the first two that we should probably plug in stuff at the end of the podcast. Like follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Anyway, all our like...
Yes, of course. You should follow Taroni on Instagram. Like I know so many people who don't know how to spell Taroni. It's Taroni. It's not Tarotni. It's not Tarotni.
It's
nothing.
not. It's not.
Taroni.
It's not tarotini like martini. A lot of people told me that.
Oh.
They're like, we just read it like martini, like tarotini. People also
It's taro.
People also spell it like that, like taro, I. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let it go. It's fine.
Yeah, no. Taroni is Taro and Niharika. Taro by Niharika.
No, that's...
Because she's the one who's like the
Let's
main
not,
person.
but okay.
What? Let's not.
There's no main person. This is a 2-person.
Yeah, but like, she's the founder, she's the president, and we are all just humble servants of God at the end of the day. Both of us. I mean, not just me, but like both of us, humble servants of God and like divine. If you need a tarot reading, Niharika is available. She's excellent at it. I can like vouch that myself. And I am good at astrology. Like I've been doing astrology. I do Vedic astrology, and I've been doing astrology for the past 6 years.
We should have
Like,
said that before. Like we should have
and-
introduced you in the beginning. I just realized that. But okay.
It's okay. Anybody who sticks around at the
They'll
end
be the only
gets,
people
like,
to
the
know.
Delicious.
Yeah. Insider scoop.
Yeah.
For those who stick around till the end,
But
special surprise.
yeah. But yeah, I do astrology. Niharika does tarot, and she also does like candle readings. I'm a clairvoyant, but I haven't opened up those services yet because, well, I still do like clairvoyant readings and like bibliomancy, and like I dabble into different forms of divination, etc. But so far, these are the services we're providing, and if you need any, just contact like Taroni on like our Instagram page, and we'll give you a link to our website, which is say the website's name.
https://taroni.card carrd.co/
I can't remember. But anyway, that's the
I like
website.
how I'm like a copywriter as like a profession, and I said ... instead of colon. And // Okay, fun. But yeah, thank you for listening if you did.
But thank you so much for tuning in.
But we will see you next week.
You say thank you first. I'll
Okay,
say
thank you so much. See you next week. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you so much for having us entertain you.
Hope you were
We'll see you next
entertained.
week.
Bye-bye.